Picture this. You're at the vet. Your dog is trembling, not a little, fully shaking, pressed against the cold metal table, ears flat, eyes wide. You're kneeling beside it, speaking softly. You're the one who brought it here. You're the one who loves it more than most people you know. And your dog looks at you like you are the threat. It pulls away. It flinches when the doctor reaches for it. And in that moment, you ask yourself a question that sounds simple but goes somewhere much deeper. Does my dog actually know I'm trying to help it? I've been thinking about that question for a long time. And the more I looked into it, the science, the psychology, the research on bonding, the more it surprised me. Because the answer isn't what most people expect. If you've ever had a dog, or if you've ever loved something that couldn't understand your reasons for what you did, stay with me. This one is for you. Most of us don't hesitate when we hear that question. Of course dogs know. They love us unconditionally. They sleep pressed against our legs. They greet us at the door like we've been gone for years, even when we only stepped out for 10 minutes. If any creature on this planet understands human intention, surely it's a dog. That's the assumption most of us carry, and it feels so obviously true that we never stop to question it. But here's where it gets interesting. What if your dog doesn't understand help the way you do? What if, from your dog's perspective, the vet isn't a loving act, it's just fear, pain, confusion, a strange room with strange smells, and a person doing something that hurts, while the one familiar face in the room just stands there and lets it happen? Think about that for a second. And if you're someone who's been a caregiver for a parent, a spouse, a child, you might recognize something in that feeling. The person you love doesn't always understand why you're doing what you're doing. They push back, they resist, they look at you with confusion or even anger. You still do it because you know something they don't in that moment. Dogs are living that every single day. But we're not going to answer the question yet. First, let's look at what the science actually says. Here's what the research tells us. Dogs are, by most measures, extraordinary at reading human beings. Scientists at institutions like the Family Dog Project in Budapest have spent years studying canine cognition, and what they found is genuinely remarkable. Dogs follow our gaze. They interpret our pointing gestures. They respond to shifts in facial expression and tone of voice in ways that even chimpanzees, our closest genetic relatives, often can't match. Think about that. Our closest cousins in the animal kingdom, and the dog you've had for 10 years reads you better? Why? Because dogs have co-evolved alongside humans for roughly 15 to 40,000 years. That's not an accident. That evolution shaped a brain that is specifically, almost uniquely, tuned to human social signals. They are watching us, constantly, carefully, reading every micro-expression, every shift in posture, every change in our breathing. But, and this is the critical part, there's a ceiling to what that reading means. Understanding a social cue is not the same as understanding a future consequence. Your dog can read that you're worried. It cannot reason that your worry is connected to a diagnosis from last Tuesday and a treatment plan that will unfold over the next 3 weeks. That kind of thinking, abstract, forward-looking, cause and effect across time, cognitive scientists call it mental time travel. And dogs, as best we understand, don't do it the way we do. They live in the present moment, in a very real, very profound sense. So, if your dog can't project into the future, what is it actually experiencing when you hold it still for something painful? That question matters more than you might think. Let me shift the frame here, because I think we've been asking the wrong question all along. The question was never, does my dog understand medicine? The real question, the one that actually matters, is this: does my dog understand me? Those are not the same thing. Think about the dog at the vet, trembling. It doesn't know what a stethoscope is. It doesn't know the pain is temporary or purposeful, but it knows something. It knows who is in the room. It knows the smell of the person beside it. It knows whether that person's hands are shaking or steady, whether that voice sounds panicked or calm, whether that presence feels like safety or doesn't. The dog is not reading the situation, it's reading the relationship. And for many of you watching, maybe you know someone in your life who couldn't always understand why you were doing what you did for them. A parent with dementia who didn't recognize you some days, but still reached for your hand. A child going through something difficult who pushed you away but came back again. They weren't reading your reasons, they were reading you. Same thing. Think about a dog rescued from a shelter, malnourished, afraid of hands, flinching at movement. Every human interaction it's known has been unpredictable, possibly painful, definitely frightening. You bring it home. For the first few days, it won't come out. You leave food near where it hides. You sit on the floor and read a book and don't look directly at it. You come back the next morning, and the next, and the next. 6 months later, that dog follows you from room to room. It sleeps at the foot of your bed. When something scares it, it comes to find you. What changed? Did it suddenly understand rescue? Did it one day reason through the whole narrative, I was in danger, this person intervened, therefore I can trust them? Almost certainly not in the way we describe it. Something else happened, something quieter, and in many ways more profound. Many of you have been through something like this, not with a dog, but with a person. You showed up, consistently, for someone who couldn't explain why they were pulling away. You stayed, and eventually, something shifted. Not because they understood your reasons, because they felt your presence, again and again, until your presence became safety itself. Here's what the research finds genuinely remarkable. Studies on the human-dog bond have shown that when dogs and their owners interact through eye contact, play, gentle touch, both species experience a rise in oxytocin, the same neurochemical that bonds mothers to newborns, the same one that creates feelings of safety and closeness in humans. Your dog isn't just trained to tolerate you. It is biologically bonded to you in a way that mirrors some of the deepest attachment processes in mammalian neuroscience. And here's what attachment research in both humans and animals tells us about how trust is actually built. It isn't built through understanding. It isn't built through explanation. It's built through patterns, through repetition, through the slow accumulated experience of this presence means safety. Dogs can't understand the reason behind an action, but they can learn the pattern of a person. Your dog doesn't know why the vet visit hurt, but it knows that you came back afterward. It knows you were there when the fear was at its worst and you didn't leave. It knows the hands it flinched from were the same hands that carried it home. Patterns, not reasons. And here's what I want you to sit with. If dogs build trust through patterns, then every quiet act of care you've ever given wasn't lost. The 2 a.m. drive to the emergency vet, the medication hidden in peanut butter, every morning for 2 weeks, the night you sat on the bathroom floor next to a sick dog and just stayed. All of it was being registered, not as a thought, as a felt experience, filed somewhere deep in a nervous system that doesn't track logic but tracks presence. So does your dog know you're trying to help it? Not in the way you know it, not with understanding of outcome or intention or medical necessity, but it knows something older than that, something that doesn't require language or future thinking or cognitive complexity. It knows who stayed. It knows whose voice dropped low and soft when things were frightening, whose hands came back again and again even after the pain, who showed up and kept showing up and never made the leaving permanent. Your dog may never understand why you took it to the vet, why you gave it medicine it didn't want, why you held it still when every instinct in its body said run, but it notices things you might not realize you're showing it. Who stayed in the room? Who came back the next morning? Who sat on the floor beside it when it was afraid? Who never left? And maybe across all the years and all the language that separates us from the animals who love us without words, maybe that is what trust has always been. Not understanding why someone helped you, but knowing in your body, in your nervous system, in the part of you that doesn't need language, that they did. If this touched something in you today, share it with someone who has a dog they love, or someone who has ever stayed quietly for another person who couldn't always understand why. I'll see you in the next one.